Today we've come to get together to practice some meditation, so please find a comfortable posture to sit in that you can hold for a while. So just now we chanted one verse. We said, I'm the owner of my karma, heir to my karma, born of my karma, related to my karma, abide supported by my karma. Whatever karma I do, for good or for ill, of that I'm the heir. So at this moment, as you come to sit quietly in this quiet meditation hall, in this quiet monastery, you have a chance to understand this phrase I just recited more clearly, or see it more closely. Because when we come to practice meditation, we're stilling our body. When we're sitting down like this, obviously you're not moving around very much. And then the next step is to still or quieten the mind. But of course, as you all know, as soon as you begin the meditation, your mind is not very quiet. It's full of thoughts. The body is full of sensations, and some of them are painful or itchy. And the mind is also full of its own pain and itches, memories, thoughts, desires, wanting, not wanting, memories about this and that, plans, ambitions. So that's the first thing to accept. We all have our own karma. Karma means action, or intentional action. Because you've all been living in the world for a few years now, you've already made heaps of karma. And as soon as you sit down quietly like this, with nothing else to focus your mind on, it all starts coming up. So I give the instruction to watch the breath, watch your breath. And if you've never done that before, the best place to find it is tip of your nostril. That's a good place for a beginner. If you have done it before, maybe that is your spot, but you could also, you maybe have found that you can follow the breathing at your chest, the center of your chest, or at your abdomen. But as soon as you begin to turn your attention, your mind's attention to the breathing, what happens? Your mind resists. It doesn't want to go with the breath. Maybe that's too subtle. The breath is just a feeling, isn't it? A feeling of air coming in and out of your body. It's quite subtle, hard to stay with. Maybe you'll find it boring, or maybe your mind just has something else it wants to think about. What you're going to do later, tomorrow, what happened yesterday, some problem in your life. It's just coming up into your mind, taking your attention. Sometimes the thoughts that come up demand our attention. They seem very important, and the breath doesn't seem very important. So as you begin practicing, you have to be very patient with that fact, that you're the owner of your karma, And your karma will start bringing its results coming up in your mind, different thoughts, emotions, feelings. But our main aim is to bring up mindfulness. We use the breath or the breathing to do that. Mindfulness is this quality of remembering, not forgetting. You have to keep something in mind when you're mindful. There's an object there. So as we practice meditation today, we're using the breathing, what the Buddha called anapanasati. Mindful or recollecting, or even you could say remembering, the in and out breath. That's the technique as we sit here, paying attention to the in and out breath. But as I said, because of the power of karma that we've made, there'll be all kinds of other thoughts and interests for the mind coming up, good and bad, peaceful and not peaceful. That's where we need to be patient, accepting. You have to accept your karma, but also try to understand what you're doing as you meditate, and that is making very useful, good, new karma by bringing up this quality of mindfulness. So at this time our aim is to be mindful of the in and out breath. That's what we want to know. We want to know our breathing. We know many other things in life, we can remember other things, but at the moment we just want to know the breath. And as we do that, of course, the mind races away to the next thought, or reacts to the next sensation in the body, or hear a sound, something will take our attention away from the breath, and we'll start thinking. We use the word proliferation, meaning unguided thinking, where you're just thinking and thinking, but without much understanding, without much mindfulness. Just kind of vaguely aware that you're thinking about something, but you're not with the breathing anymore. And this is one of our first challenges. Just to learn to pay more attention to the in-breath and out-breath. So as you meditate, even knowing one in-breath and one out-breath is already a victory. Your mind is going in the right direction. And you've made a little bit of good karma every moment that you're mindful of one breath in, one breath out. And if you keep doing that, there may be times when you're more mindful of the breath. So it's not just one breath in, one breath out, but 2 or 3 or 4, a few together. Especially as you sit here a bit longer, your body becomes more still, more quiet, more settled. That helps your mind to settle down. There's not much else around to distract you. Once you've got used to the place and what you're doing, then you can really turn all your attention, your mental energy to the breathing and to paying attention to the breathing. And if you find that your mind is with more and more, with the breath more and more, then it will be with those other thoughts and other issues less and less. It doesn't mean to say you won't have any thoughts come up. Doesn't mean to say you won't have any feelings of pain or itches, or you won't hear any sounds. There'll be all kinds of things coming to you as normal. But as you practice, you're making the breath the center of your attention, giving that the importance. So these other things will come up, but then you don't hold on to them. You can let them go. They don't cause you any great disturbance. So sometimes they compare this practice of bringing mindfulness to the breathing, like clearing away the moss or the plant life that grows on the top of a pond. Say, if you have a pond, you often get green moss, algae growing on the top, covering it over so you can't see into the water. And then if you take your hand, you push away or collect up the green moss, and then you can start to see through the water, maybe see down into the bottom if it's still water. This is like when you pay attention to the in and out breath. It's like you're clearing away some of the normal mental occupations, the thoughts, the worries, even the sleepiness that we will also have to deal with as we meditate. You're clearing all of that away so that you can see more clearly into your own mind. So the first part of this meditation is just learning to pay attention more to the breath, to know the in-breath, know the out-breath, know the in-breath, know the out-breath, and so on. Building up this quality of mindful awareness, knowing your own mind by using the breath as an anchor or a focal point. So of course, as you keep practicing, there'll be moments when your mindfulness slips and your mind drifts off, starts thinking about all the stuff that you normally think about, the karma that you've made, the karma you want to make. So you have to be very patient and keep bringing it back to the breath. And that's the first task of the meditation. So it can be a little bit frustrating. One thing that will help is if you remember the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. The Sangha are all those enlightened disciples of the Buddha. Monks, nuns, men, women who have practiced this in the past and learnt to train their minds in this way. You might bring up the thought of an individual teacher you know, someone you've heard of, or just generally the qualities that those beings had. They were very patient, they put effort into training their mind, and they're very calm. They were willing to work with their mind, keep composing body, speech and mind, training themselves to let go of all the different disturbing qualities that come up as you're meditating, to know things and let go. They were willing to practice with that until they got more calm and more control of their own mind. So sometimes we remember teachers or remember the Buddha. This will help to deal with the frustration of the restless mind. And we also need the quality of metta, loving kindness, goodwill for ourselves and also for others. As part of the karma that is disturbing our mind when we meditate will be negativity, aversion, maybe disappointments with ourselves when remembering things that went wrong, unpleasant feelings in the body, painful feelings. Or if we think about some people, brings up anger, ill will. We also need a lot of metta, loving kindness, as we meditate. From that we can be more accepting of the way things are in our own mind, in our own life, but also with other people. There's nothing that disturbs the mind more than thinking of something that makes you angry. It's like your mind goes on fire when you think of that person or that thing that happened, that event. So you need the goodwill to focus the mind to relax, forgive, let go. And it also has a very nourishing quality, helps bring up energy. You have more energy to work with your own restless mind and all the different thoughts that keep coming up. Gives you a good attitude. So even though your mind is not so peaceful always, you have a better attitude towards whatever is disturbing you, whatever that thought or that memory is. So this is the first aim of our meditation. Bring the mind up to a place where it's more calm. We're more mindful of the in-breath, the out-breath. Body and mind becomes more still. We feel more calm. But we're also learning about things. And the real purpose of meditation is to learn from your own experience. What are you learning? Well, you're learning to see clearly the way things are. Not so much to always try and analyze and remember information in the normal way we might think about learning, but just to observe and know what's going on in your own mind, but from a place of calm awareness, mindfulness. You'll notice when you're aware of the breath, there's a steadiness of mind, balance, what the Buddha called equanimity, upekkha. This equanimity allows you to just watch without getting too involved in what's going on in your body or in your mind. So if you have more mindfulness, more equanimity, you'll see things because your mind is more still, more calm. So you might notice the characteristic of impermanence, change. As you're sitting here watching the breath, you also notice how different feelings come up into your awareness and then pass away. So maybe one moment you have pain, sometimes it grows stronger, sometimes it disappears. Sometimes it's mental activity, you have a memory of something that disturbs you, pulls your attention, some issue you're thinking about, some business, some problem, agitates the mind. But as you return to the breath, you can see that business of the mind that you were thinking about, that problem, is just thoughts. You have thoughts about that problem, with emotions and memories, but they all have one characteristic, is that they all arise and pass away. As you're more mindful, you can see that, the arising and passing away of feeling, memories, thought formations, different moods. You could even learn today, just for one day, practicing mindfulness. You may begin with a certain mood in your mind. Perhaps you feel interested, enthusiastic. Later on you might feel tired, sleepy, or dull, or bored. Later on you may have another mood. Maybe you feel some aversion, irritation. Then later on you might have another mood again. Feel quite peaceful. All in the space of one period of meditation. And that allows you to see your mind more closely, how it's, we say, a conditioned thing. You think of one thing, you feel good. You experience something else, you feel discontent, ill at ease. Then you remember something else, you feel happy. You remember something else, you feel sad or annoyed. This mind is not that certain, not that stable. As you practice more mindfulness, you can witness that, witness the changing nature of your thoughts, your moods, and the body itself. How the body feels comfortable, and then it feels uncomfortable, feels pleasure, feels pain, feels good, feels bad. But you're cultivating this quality of just knowing and observing the characteristic of change. What the Buddha called anicca sanya or anicca laksana. Noting, observing change. Because this is helpful to us, helps us understand better the way life is. It's full of change. The body is full of change. Every day is different for this body. Physically it's changing, aging, feels good, feels bright and energetic, then it feels tired, feels hungry, then it feels full. The body is always changing, and with mindfulness we're observing that characteristic. And the mind is changing. How we feel, how we look at the world, our attitude, our opinions, even what we believe can change over time. As you practice mindfulness, you're just learning to look at this from a place of calm stillness rather than getting too involved in the changes. You're just witnessing them. That's giving you a new kind of knowledge. You're seeing the changing nature of your own body and mind. In Buddhism we call this wisdom. And it can be liberating, because it helps you to understand better the way things are. So Luang Por Chah used the reflection that it's not sure, it's not certain. And this helps us to keep our mind more in line with reality, with the way things are. The one thing you can be sure of is that everything is not sure. How you feel, what you're thinking, it's changing all the time. But this knowledge is liberating because it's liberating you from misunderstanding the truth, where you try and make things, fix things down, tie things down, hold on to things that are changing and try to make them permanent or solid when you can't. We can't make the body just stay the same all the time. This physical body is changing and we have to accept that. The world around us is changing and we can't influence that very much. And our mind is always changing, different thoughts, feelings, memories. We're observing that, witnessing that. When you see change, you also see that what you take as who you are, what you identify with or believe in as a self, is actually you might say a collection or a process of experiences made up of all these changing experiences, physical changes, mental changes, thoughts and moods. So helping to understand deeply what you take as me, mine, myself. You're adjusting your attitude and the way you look at things. Ultimately, the Buddha said, the sense of self is empty. What we take as a fixed, solid self is actually empty of that. But that kind of knowledge you can only see through meditation, through training your mind. So we've got a bit of time left now in this morning session. I'll go quiet and we can carry on meditating until you hear the sound of the bell. Just try to keep yourself awake, alert, mindful, and we'll see how we go.